any sort of ball, but he can also get the job done at the other end of the pitch as well.
Well, he's got 2 goals for Paulo coming forward. And now Tuga, for the first time since leg 1, finds himself level with Paulo, the 380th ranked player in the world on PlayStation 4. Found the equalizer. Can Tuga bring it back ahead? Marcelo says no. Ronaldo. Wait, it looks like an entirely different player on the attacking side of the ball. Almost 0 attempts at even skill moves in leg 1.
And it's the 2-goal curse yet again. Not just in this tournament, but in previous tournaments as well. So many players seem to fall as soon as they get that 2-0 advantage.
R9! Oh, nearly had the back post.
So much better now going forward, Paulo. Flowing with confidence, oozing with it. And I'm sure just going through Tuga's head is going to be, I don't want to fall in another semi-final. This is my chance at a console final here. He has looked second best in this second leg, and the scoreline represents that.
Tuga still with only 1 shot. De Gea saved the day on the near post. Possession. Oh my. Who is this guy? This is not the guy we saw in leg 1.
And that's the difference that just switching a formation can have. And I wonder whether there's something else available for Tuga, whether he needs to now counter the formation that we're seeing Paulo play with.
Went from basic dribbling to nearly bringing the El Tornado. Messi! And Tuga does what Tuga does. Could this finally be his moment here in the 71st minute?
And he was using his cricketers as heel-to-heels to just make that little bit of extra space in the box. Somewhat fortunate in the end because Paulo did try and clear the ball, but a mistake maybe from Paulo, just giving that ball away in a very dangerous area, and then very well reacted from Tuga. You've got to be very hot to react to those situations. When you see that ball suddenly at your player's feet, you need to be thinking, am I shooting, am I passing? And he took his time, he was very calm. Didn't take that shot initially with Messi, played it once more, and then he was able to find the back of the net, and he gets that 1-goal lead once again, and now Paulo is running out of time.
Well, Iniesta made the move famous, but Ronaldo made it beautiful. And what a finish it was, and now the pressure goes right back on that young man right there. I gotta know what material is that hoodie? Is it velvet?
It shimmers quite nicely, doesn't it? I'm slightly jealous.
Here we go. 20 to go. 19 if you want to be correct. Here's the 71st minute. See the finish again.
It's just how he didn't shoot straight away. He didn't just say, oh, I need to shoot, I've got an opportunity. It's just that one extra touch that gave him enough space. But Paulo has looked good going forward in this second leg, so I'm sure that Tuga knows this is not wrapped up just yet. And a game that was very cagey and very little action in the early stages of the first leg has really exploded in leg number 2 here in the semi-final on the PS4.
Paulo Neto down a goal without possession. 74 gone by now. Pele plays it to Luka Modric. Messi to Ronaldo. Neymar. But he's got space. One touch too many. Paulo Neto. Sergio Ramos steps up on the challenge. Luka fights through, but somehow CR7 willing Paulo Neto.
And we've seen a lot of players throw away leads like this in the latter stages of games. I mean, for example, yesterday, Danny, who had a 2-goal lead against MSDossary with 15 minutes to go, somehow found himself losing that game. And sometimes you just have to suck in a little bit of pride and start playing the passing game, start moving it around the back four, switch it from left to right. Just deprive your opponent of that possession. But credit to Tuga in this game. 2 shots, 2 goals.
Find himself in the book after that poor slide tackle. But when you're trailing, you got to take some chances. Down by 1 on aggregate. Paulo Neto has really turned the page here in leg 2. And if the result doesn't turn his way, he's going to be thinking what might have been in leg 1.
And I imagine now it's going to be kind of a 3-5-2 situation, throwing everything forward, which just mean that Tuga, despite the fact that he's got possession, he's going to be under a lot of pressure here. And keeping possession is easier said than done in FIFA 19. And straight away, Luka Modric getting involved there. But he needs to be very careful with those passes. He can't rush his possession as soon as he wins it back. He does still have a little bit of time to work with.
Yeah, trying to save 3 seconds maybe cost you 3 minutes. Cancelo. Pele. That nearly would have done it. What a block. It was an open goal. And that was everything.
Yeah, just striking the thigh of Varane in the end, and that was a massive opportunity to secure this console final for Tuga. He could have just held the ball, he could have held possession, but instead he's going for that goal. He wants to close this one out. You can feel it with the way he's playing.
Messi! And Van der Sar, the icon, comes up with the save.
But he's going to be more than happy getting these corners after corner, but there he's given away possession, and that's going to mean 1 chance for Paulo Neto, but he's not able to hold on to it. Again, maybe slightly rushing it. He has to assume here that every time he regains the ball, it could be his last bit of possession. Needs to make it count.
Pele. Targets in the middle. Maldini doing a nice job. Regaining possession. This could be the final buildup of not only this leg in this match, but for Paulo Neto. Messi plays it into Mbappe. Ronaldo has brought us equal. The equalizer in the 91st minute. Ronaldo. Goal!
And the audience erupts and the fans erupt as well. The Cinderella story, it still lives on. Paulo Neto, lowest ranked player left in the tournament, is still going at it. And at this rate, we're going to extra time here. I said he needed to make it count with his last bit of possession. He was calm, he was collected. What a moment for that young man.
And the match official will send us to extra time. 8 shots, 7 on goal, and 3 found their way. And that brings us equal on aggregate. And we're going to need some extra time in semifinal number 1.
And momentum is going to be all with Paulo as well. It's so heartbreaking to concede a goal in the last minute. And Tuga will just be thinking, I was mere seconds away from the console final, but he needs to just get that out of his head now and say, look, I've been playing a good game here.
Here it is one more time, Dan. Mbappe plays it out to Ronaldo and finds the far post. Absolutely brilliant.
And look at the coach there, and look at what it means to the coach of SPQR. It's such an incredible feeling on one side, but also a heartbreaking feeling on the other. And it takes a real amount of calmness to be able to know when to pull the trigger in those kind of situations, because you want to keep passing it until you get that perfect opportunity. But he saw that chance on goal. He took it. And here we go. Extra time in the semi-final then.
He's got momentum. He's got the first possession. Ranked 380th. I think Dan Gaskin is like 381.
Not far off. I wish.
And he'll swing it to the outside of Cancelo. And Tuga get off the tilt and put himself back in front again. Pele across the 6-yard box, and Ronaldo is right there. Bang, bang, Tuga.
And it's a simple one in the grand scheme of things. A perfect through ball, and there's no way he's going to miss it from that close. Keeper in no man's land. Possibility, of course, to drag that keeper towards the middle of the goal, but even if you had moved him, Ronaldo could have gone left or right. And every time you think Paulo's back into it, Tuga just responds and shows his experience.
What an incredible semifinal. Luka with the dispossession. Neymar. And Paulo Neto with it once again, trailing by a goal. Mbappe gets it on Ronaldo. Nice fake shot. Keeps the momentum. Able to drag it back, but not enough power. Needed it to be perfectly timed.
It was such beautiful build-up as well. I mean, Paulo looks like a different player from what we saw in the early stages of leg one. You still feel there's going to be chances for him. He just needs to be defensively solid. He's got to be careful of these through balls because they're ripping him apart.
Marcelo can't handle Pele. Plays it back to the top of the box. Messi, no. Lionel pulled the trigger. And look at Hullet. Little shoulder tackle. Able to regain possession. He's everywhere. Ronaldo, back to Modric.
Tuga not happy with just sitting back here and holding the ball. He's going for blood. But that is going to leave a couple of gaps at the back, but good defending from him. Varane just closing out Ronaldo, not allowing any cricketers to beat him today.
Boy, tried to drag it through on that croqueta. 2 minutes extra time. One more opportunity for Paulo Neto here on the other side to try to bring us equal again. Boy, this second leg has been fantastic.
It really has, and Tuga now kind of taking advantage of the back line of Paulo Neto, who's slightly fatigued. They're not able to get to those through balls as quickly as they would have done in the early stages of this game. And now Tuga just 15 minutes to hold on here. He was so close already to the console final. Mere seconds away. Now he's got possession. He's got the kickoff. All he's got to do is very simple. You just stop your opponent from having the ball.
Couldn't tell if that was a Portuguese flag from one of our patrons here.
I think it was. I think it was being waved very, very aggressively when he got the goal.
Cancelo. Hullet. So much room for Luka. The Croatian. One of the best players in the world. And Ronaldo, perfectly timed. And Tuga, there you see it. The Portugal pride. He goes up too.
And you can start waving it as hard as you want that flag, because surely that's going to be enough now to secure his spot in the console final. He has been so clinical in front of goal. Even though Paulo's looked great going forward, every time Tuga has an opportunity, he's smashing it away. Perfectly timed, low driven. And that should be the game, unless something spectacular from Paulo.
He needs some FIFA magic. Cinderella. Oh, first time for Marcelo. Crosses it in, De Gea. Able to put it in the midst. So important when you can keep possession instead of the punch. And that is an errant pass there by De Gea, well over the head of Marcelo. If you're Paulo Neto, you need something right here. Hullet. Messi. Somehow Luka chases it down. Possession still with Paulo Neto. Trailing by 2 on aggregate. Pele. And how big was that PK in leg one? It continues to haunt him.
Yeah, that was the real difference maker in leg one. It was what set these two players apart. They're very closely contested, despite the Global Series ranking difference. Is there a twist in the tail for Paulo? He needs something now. Mbappe!
Nothing to lose now. Tuga is going to find himself finally getting past the semifinals. And he'll wait to see who he plays. Will it be Nicolas? Will it be Rasta? Only thing I can tell you, we're going to have a heck of a final. And PlayStation 4.
Yeah, he fell short in the last FUT Champions Cup, but he's not falling short here today. An extra goal to rub salt in the wounds and really supply and show the dominance that he has shown in front of goal. He lost out to Hasu 6-0 last time we saw him in competition. This time, he's showing up, and a console final is his reward.
All doubts are gone. And you got to just tip your cap. What a heck of a run for Paulo Neto. Came in ranked 380th. But the top class of Tuga has him moving on.
And really, both players should be proud of how they both defended and how they played across the whole of both of those legs. We knew it was going to be a tight affair just looking at their defensive records across this tournament. But it was Tuga in the end who just looked better in front of goal.
Well, Portugal pride, stand up. Your man is moving on to the final. A lot more coming up here from the E-League here in Atlanta.
really with leg one. Leg one, that thread carried on into leg two. That one goal that came from the PK was really that deciding factor. That was always going to be looming over Paulo Neto's head, Chu, and he constantly had to deal with it right here.
Exactly, and you see the Portuguese man using Ronaldo, the Portuguese man, to get that lead. And, you know, I was saying before this match that I think that Tuga will go ahead in the game, and then he'll be able to see out any comebacks, and I think that's what he did here in this matchup.
Rough game there for that young man. Paulo Neto ranked 380 from Brazil, but Mike, he played so well and made it this far. Surely he won't be 380 anymore.
Definitely not. And in that first matchup, or not the first matchup, the first leg, so to speak, I felt like both players were in a cagey battle, and maybe they felt nervous. You got to remember, we're in this arena, and usually there's a bunch of games going on. Not today. Everyone gets a one-off. It's just you and your opposition on the big stage. You got a crowd. You got us talking about. You got the commentators. You can hear everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But the show is you, and that's what I wanted to bring up. I thought that was going to impact Paulo, actually, that he's never really been in this situation. This is his first big tournament, first big run. You name it, and that first leg was not the best football from either side.
Yeah, and I think that was an interesting point, right, Alan? It is very nerve-wracking. You've played in a lot of these high-tension situations in the past, and you feel that pressure and everyone talking about you. That's where the attention is being put on, Alan. These guys felt it in the beginning.
Yes.
It reflected in their play.
That's what I was going to say. Paulo's fairly new to the scene, and if you make it to these later stages, you start overthinking your passes, your defense is a bit sloppy, you don't normally do things that got you to this stage, and I feel like that was a major key in Paulo Neto's game, but we can't discredit Tuga. He played very well. He shows why he qualifies to these events and why he has made it to the semis.
Despite that penalty kick that came out there for Tuga, where he was able to get that in leg one, it really was some exquisite play, though, from him in leg two. Kept this one going. Paulo Neto was starting to get that momentum, starting to build it, and then it just started, the goals started to flow on in. That confidence was certainly going to be building.
I wish we saw Paulo leg two in leg one.
Yes.
True.
We never talk about Brazilians without creativity, but in the first leg, that's exactly what it was. He looked stiff. He wasn't in the flow. The rhythm wasn't there. It just didn't have that build-up play that we're used to seeing with Brazilian players.
And I think that's the thing with Paulo is that I think he's better when he's on the comeback. Like he figures out the game plan after he's behind. But in this case, I think going against someone like Tuga has something to counter that.
And I feel like, you know, he was down, and I feel like he was down because he wasn't confident. And when he started making that comeback, that's when he started sparking up, playing how he's accustomed to, and he should have just done that earlier, but I feel like the nerves got to him in this game.
Yeah, you know what, you guys are 100% correct on that one, right? You could feel the nerves there at the beginning for both players, really. Now I am actually interested to learn more about Tuga's thoughts going into that game. We actually got Kay standing by the Cheesy Cruise Player Lounge with our winner.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. First of all, with Tuga, let's find out how we actually say that vamos, shall we? Can we do that again?
Vamos!
There you go, more or less, right? Tuga, well done. How are you feeling?
Thank you, man. I'm so happy to be in the console final. I never expected this in the beginning of the tournament, but it's unbelievable. I can't explain my feelings right now.
And you've had a difficult run in your career in FIFA so far. What did you learn from your last tournament?
Yeah, I came into the semifinals. Unfortunately, I lost, but I gained experience at this time, and that experience gave me this final.
Things seem to be going well in FIFA right now for Portuguese players. Is this something that we can expect to see more of?
Yeah, you can expect that. Portuguese players never get so far in these tournaments. Right now, it's me and Rasta in the semifinals. It's unbelievable for Portuguese esports, and I hope the Portuguese people have credits for this. And let's go.
Just a quick mention then, Rasta is up next to play. Do you think he can do it?
Yeah, of course he can. I practice against him a lot. He's a very tough player, very good player. I hope he will beat Nicolas. It will be a tough game because Nicolas is really strong. He's the number one in the ranking. But I hope for us he's Portuguese, and I hope to have a Portuguese console final.
Fantastic. Very well done, Tuga, and good luck in the console final. Guys, back to you.
And very interesting point there that Kay brought up with Tuga. If RastaArtur is able to defeat Nicolas, we will have an all-Portuguese final. And this is something that I think is quite unexpected in the world of FIFA. I know we were talking about it as well. Good to see Portugal be represented here so well with some great players to boot. But boy, oh boy, is it going to be a challenge for RastaArtur, because he's going to have to go through the #1 ranked PS4 player from Argentina, Nicolas, and this guy is a beast.
I just want to see if RastaArtur has as many Portuguese flags as Tuga. I mean, that guy had the scarf, the flag. I don't know if he's got the jersey. Maybe he's got the Ronaldo jersey in his bag. Underneath the offset esports
I'm sure
kit,
we're going to be getting a lot of
flags.
flags being busted out today here, fellas. Well, I want to thank you so much for your insight, but that's going to do it for the post game. Now, though, we get ready for our next matchup. It's going to be Nicolas going up against RastaArtur, Argentina versus Portugal. We'll see you on the other side.
Stu Holden, Tim Howard, Steve Nash, and we have a special guest. Phil over here is actually the pro, and we're going to be playing a little bit of FIFA with Phil.
So at home when I'm like practicing, I usually come to the shooting through the bronze.
How reflective is that of an actual game?
It's pretty accurate the way you shoot in the skill game and in game as well.
Translates?
Yeah, it'll pick Neymar. Whoever gets like the highest score gets like the bragging rights. Wants to give it a try.
Jimmy?
You're going to. Oh, how many shots is he? Look, he just
He gets 40 seconds.
45 seconds. Oh, okay, I've seen his first one. None.
He won't
No
go more than
goals.
5,000.
No
points.
goals. There you go, son.
Oh, that was decent.
Now bang it.
He's
Oh, a
finesse.
little too much.
No, I don't want finesse.
You don't want finesse, just power? All right.
Bingo.
There
Getting closer, mate. Give it a little more. Oomph. That's a little too much.
Yo, I can't figure out the oomph.
A little less oomph.
A little less something.
Yeah, a little less. You're doing way too much.
Oh, that was yeah, you made it make it safe.
You got 583 points.
Wow.
No, but more importantly,
That's
0 goals. Come on, Stevie.
I think Stevie's gonna do more than 5.
Here he goes.
Oh, no.
He's hitting pens.
Never mind.
He's hitting pens.
I take that back. Never mind.
Bang it.
Yeah,
Too much power.
Hold
There it is. Yeah! Get it! Oh, look at that.
You have to beat that score.
27-69. Well done, Stevie.
Oh, no.
Slotted, mate.
Oh, ref. Why is he taking such a big touch?
Because he's you.
Ready? How about a little bit of this, Neymar? Ole!
Stu, that was impressive. That was impressive, man.
Do you need a teammate?
Yeah. No.
That was the UEFA crew with Phil B. Pretty cool stuff there. Way to go, Stu Holden. Way to go, man.
Yeah, I think they were better than me in the skill games yesterday, to be honest.
Did look
Yeah.
abundantly better.
Thank you for that. I feel great that I'm worse than Steve Nash, who's probably.
I got your back, buddy. I got
hasn't
your
played.
back. All right, folks. So we just have one semifinal locked, and that is going to be Tuga going on to the PS4 finals. But he's awaiting his opponent. And coming up next, we have a great matchup here. It's RastaArtur versus Nicolas, and Nicolas has, Alan, such a like crazy history in FIFA, multi-time winner. This guy's a beast. He's a monster. I mean, how they got here is the title of this, but I mean, how he got here is he's #1 ranked, and he's so dang good at this game.
Yeah, and he's taken out big names in the past, and it's going to be interesting to see if Rasta can do the same. He did lose to Pina, who is ranked 2nd in leaderboards, and Dr. Arjona, who is 9th. Those were his 2 losses. And now he's coming up against Nicolas, who is a FUT Champions Cup Series 1 champ, top 7 in the FIWC 2017, top 5 FEWC 2018. He has just an amazing FIFA resume, so it's going to be a challenge for Rasta, and I'm excited to see how Nicolas is going to do in this game.
All right, well, let's talk about RastaArtur representing Portugal. He's going to be your 25th ranked player here. And he's got, as we had mentioned already, a tall task ahead of him here, Chu. Big game for him, but he's capable of doing it. How does he do it, though?
I mean, first he's got to get past that Nicolas death stare that you saw before. But, you know, RastaArtur, nice guy. Say what's up, Rasta. You know, the good thing about RastaArtur is that he knows how to execute a plan. If he does have a plan against Nicolas, he's very good at just knowing what to do at the right time. You saw it against MBD. He executed that perfectly. So you just have to take your chance against Nicolas and not let him have the first goal.
Yeah, so we're going to go into the predictions now. And, Mike, I'm going to let you have the floor for this. I want you to argue both cases. If Nicolas wins, how does he do it? RastaArtur wins, how does he do it? And who do you think is going to win?
For Rasta, the big key, like Chu said, do not concede early, because then Nicolas is going to be in a controlling situation, and that's not what you want. They say man's not hot. We got the ice man. You do not want to like put that power in his hands. If he feels that he's controlling the game and he's able to dictate the pace, he's going to win. And he might even win convincingly. And at the same time, Ross is very underappreciated. I've seen him play in Bucharest. He's in all the qualifiers. If you talk to other professional players, they're definitely giving him a thumbs up of approval. And beating Dr. Arjona has got to be good for his confidence. That's #9 in the world. And that's got to tell you, okay, cool. I'm definitely where I need to be. And he's kind of been growing this year. I've seen better results at multiple different events. And I think this might be a lot closer than what people are expecting at home, but you have to go with Nicolas. Okay. Until somebody takes him out, how can you go against him? I think his early scare versus Mo Alba really woke him up and got him back on the Nicolas game plan.
Yeah, so I guess what Mike is saying here is that blame Mo Alba if you know what happens here. If
That's fair enough. Yeah, that might be what I'm saying. Like if Nicolas is in prime form, you can blame Mo Alba, because Mo Alba had the chances to definitely progress in that game, and I've never seen so many unforced errors from Nicolas. And if we talk to him now, I'm sure that he'll say, "Yep, that was not my best gameplay." He scored goals in that game and shook his head in displeasure.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes to show you it, right? So, Alan, your thoughts and prediction.
So, Rasta, yes, we cannot discredit him. He's a very great in the attack. We saw that against NBD. I do see that he uses La Croqueta a lot, so it's going to be interesting to see how Nicolas is going to be able to manage those type of skill moves. But you just, honestly, you just really can't go against Nicolas, a player with such a great FIFA resume. He's just been performing, scoring goals left and right, defending very well. It's going to be a tough one for Rasta, but I see that Nicolas is going to come out with the victory.
I mean, Nicolas the Iceman, he's kind of like that, you know, that White Walker in Game of Thrones, the one with the... Dude, that guy's mean, man. I'm going Nicolas all the way. He's going to control all those minutes in the match against RastaArtur, so I don't see Nicolas losing this one.
Well, the desk is unified with Nicolas, but we got some goodies for you in the chats. Luckily for you, my man Chu has got you covered. What's the drop today, bud?
I got some nice drops for you guys again. First drop, we got 5 of them today, so you're in for a treat. They already, well, the first drop has already dropped. So check your FUT accounts to see if you have received a 92 rated flashback Fernando Torres. If you're, you know, a Liverpool fan or a Chelsea fan, you do want that player who played for your 2 clubs. So check your your FUT account to see if you have that flashback Torres. Go to ea.com/Twitch linking to make sure that your account is linked to Twitch, and hopefully you can earn a new reward. We got 4 more coming.
Who doesn't want an El Niño in the club?
I mean, I support United. I don't want him. I want a Vidic. I want an icon Vidic, prime moments.
I don't know why Chu's fronting. If that was in his account, I'd be like, thank you very much.
Oh, he'd be very happy.
No, I would do the
Chu
SBC.
hasn't gotten anything, so...
I would put him in an icon SBC just to, like, get rid of him.
I respect that. I respect that. All right, well, now it's time to get into our second semifinal of the day. It's going to be a good one. Send it over to your casters. One more time, you have Dan Gaskin, Scott Cole.
Thanks so much, gentlemen. Back here in the Boost Mobile caster desk. And Dan, well, we're catching our breath from semifinal number 1, but in semifinal number 2, they talked about it. You have the heavily favored Nicolas with an opportunity to spoil our all-Portuguese final.
And RastaArtur's been in this position before. They faced each other before. I think it was Bucharest in January. And it was only a 3-2 victory for Nicolas. So that is the case. They are still so close, despite the fact that Nicolas is number 1 on the leaderboards, despite the fact he is the Iceman. He dominates. RastaArtur, he can get a job done here. I know we talk about the Cinderella story, talk about the underdog. He is an underdog, but I wouldn't say he's that much of an underdog in this tie.
No, we're ranked in the top 25. I think that's just telling you is he's just outside of being in top class, top tier. A win here would certainly help the resume, not only the points, the cash, being in the final, all that kind of good stuff, but you're also going to put some respect on your name if you're able to take down the #1 player on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, the way he'll be thinking about it is just focusing on, I just need to beat the man who's in front of me. I need to beat Nicolas, and then suddenly I'm in a console final, an all-Portuguese console final, as you mentioned. In terms of the Global Series rankings, if he were to win this and secure himself those 850 Global Series ranking points, he would soar up the leaderboards. He'd be around the top 10 mark instead of the 25th mark that he's at the moment. And he's going to be thinking Tuga was only 1 spot behind him. Tuga was in 26th. He's in 25th. Tuga already getting to that final. If RastaArtur drops short here, he'd be overtaken.
I see the game face of Nicolas. Maybe 11 inches away from the screen. Locked in, getting their formation set. And here we go. We're going to have the kickoff here. Semifinal number 2.
Enjoy the game.
Can we have an all-Portuguese final? Nicolas is in the white kits, all white, looking crispy. And Rasta in those gray kits with the lime green numbers on the shirt. And he's already pressing, and I love it.
And Rasta's certainly not made it easy for himself this tournament comparatively to Nicolas. Nicolas went 3-0 in the Swiss and kind of brushed everyone aside, whereas RastaArtur was 3-2, losing to players like Dr. Ohano in the Swiss, but then he went on to beat Dr. Ohano in the knockouts. So maybe he's just one of those players when it gets down and dirty and it comes to being eliminated or not, that's when he starts to show up.
Well, here's his first possession. Varane over to Alexandro. Frenchman with another touch. Vieira's out there. Cancelo. Boy, the patrons already in full lather. Waiting to see who's going to be in the final. Who's going to face Tuga? Mbappe, tornado time!
Okay, we're starting early with some tornadoes today then. Didn't see any in the previous semi-final, but RastaArtur, no shame, he's going to try it just to see if it works out early on. And then he might resort to some more normal footballing play as this game goes on. But Nicolas, look at him, stone cold, very focused as he always is.
An El Tornado warning in effect. Perfectly timed, but perfectly saved.
And that's where RastaArtur needs to be careful. Just those simple drag backs to beat that final man and get the shot on goal. It was good goalkeeper movement from him to prevent the ball hurtling into the back of the net, no, but that's what Nicolas has to offer. Like his teammate at the E-Club World Cup, he is very skillful in the final third.
Sandro. Vieira now. The icon, R9. Boy, back-to-back perfectly timed shots. Spoiled.
Look where this cursor is. Just aiming towards the back post, and now he's moving Ronaldo all the way back to win that header.
He'll bomb it! Double header for the first goal! And R9, it's Ronaldo to Ronaldo, back of the net.
Perfect set piece. You saw the little yellow icon there being moved. Switch over to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's going to win that every day of the week, but he's not hitting shoot. He's hitting pass. And Van der Sar is getting nowhere near that one. A well-executed set piece from Nicolas.
Well, Van der Sar, even though he's an absolute legend, an icon, he never saw Ronaldo to Ronaldo, I can tell you that. 1-0 in favor of the #1 player on PlayStation 4.
And I love seeing creativity from set pieces. In fact, it was the E-Club World Cup. Nicolas and Tex, when they teamed up together, their set pieces were phenomenal. The things that they were trying, very experimentative. Obviously, it put in a lot of hard work together. And you can see Nicolas has done more of the same individually here as well.
Well, we saw Tex do a similar corner, but he brought Cristiano Ronaldo to the top of the 18 and passed it in via header. Ronaldo now.
It was all the way back at Paris Games Week where Mo Alba really showed us the sheer power of switching to one of those players in the box and controlling them rather than just allowing the computer to move them for you. And it seems to be getting better and better as people work out different ways with these set pieces.
Hold it. Go to Vieira. Boy, how many times have we seen those two guys pass it between each other? That's CDM. Ronaldo. Back to Vieira. Former Arsenal legend. Hold it. And R9 tried to roll over there.
Yeah, a nice scoop turn to try and beat the man, but a lackluster shot in the end. And you're right, we see so much of Vieira to Hullet. Because of the way that players will defend and sit behind the ball, it often means that outside the box, it leaves it to Vieira or Hullet to maybe take a shot. And that's why we see some players trying to introduce the likes of Luka Modric, the likes of Kante, who have a better foot on them, a better rifle from outside the box, really, than the likes of Patrick Vieira.
Of course, when you're building your squad, it's nice to have that chemistry between those two icons.
Absolutely.
To help fill out the rest of the 11. Vieira. Neymar. Drag back for space. Looking for R9, but Varane able to, for a moment, try to clear this defending third. And we haven't seen a lot of those lifts, and some of that's maybe because high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit scary sometimes when you do just play a through ball and then it's intercepted comfortably. You give a possession back to your opponent, and then suddenly you're ruining a mistake and you're just hoping you're going to regain possession sometime soon. But we've already seen RastaArtur's game plan in effect. It was during the quarterfinals against NBD, where he was very much just sitting back and absorbing that pressure and saying, hey, I'm going to let you push on. You can have as many strikes on goal as you want, but I'm going to hit you on the counter-attack. Whether that's going to be as effective against someone like Nicolas, that remains to be seen, but it's all been possession for Nicolas so far in this first leg.
Well, a missed lunge almost opened up the middle of the pitch. Can he counter? Mbappe. So hard to get past Hullet and Vieira. Pretty through ball.
Oh.
Keeper off his line. Vieira.
And even though it didn't come to a goal in the end, at the climax of that push, it was just fantastic little ball roll in the grand ending there. He noticed that he saw the player, the keeper, coming out of his line, and he was like, all right, well, I need to just get the ball away, and the reactions from Nicolas to do so was phenomenal.
And that's where you talked about if it was a Luka Modric, if it was a Lionel Messi, maybe you do let it fly to the back post. Even though his right back was on the back of that line, trying to fill in for his keeper, who was well off, and we are at halftime.
And just the set piece, just the corner, separating these two then. Even though it has been all Nicolas going forward, he's been more than happy to keep possession. But RastaArtur, we saw yesterday, he is completely fine with just sitting back and allowing his opponent to have possession because he's clinical in front of goal. When he's presented with an opportunity, he will put it away. This is the furthest we've ever seen RastaArtur in a tournament. And he has the chance to cause an upset here and try and join his fellow Portugal friend, Tuga, in the console final.
Well, you think that breeds a little bit of confidence. I know maybe the deck stacked against you having to play Nicolas here, but you just saw your Portuguese mate make it happen. How much more of a motivation is it to maybe have a little all-Portuguese derby?
I think there's always going to be that little something behind any game, and he will look for inspiration from Tuga's performance. But they're two very different players, despite the fact they're from the same country. As we get back underway here now with the second half of this first leg, and just some pinball passing from RastaArtur as he's just trying to draw out a couple of Nicolas's players.
Alessandro. Little ball roll. Ronaldo will play it back. Hullet starts the advance. Cancelo. On to Mbappe. And Neuer with a kick save.
And that's better from RastaArtur, though, creating a little bit more opportunity now. A low-driven shot, though, was counteracted, but that's onside. Thankfully, Van der Sar was off his line there, Scott.
Well, had to come out and put a header to it. I'm not even sure he did that. Maybe a shoulder, maybe a chest, but either way, got it away momentarily. Of course, you never see the handball, and gladly so. Or we'd sit here and kick penalties all day long.
And now these are the opportunities for RastaArtur when he does regain possession against Nicolas. When Nicolas is quite high up the pitch, but look how quickly all the players in white shirts have just darted back into his own half. It's going to be extremely difficult for RastaArtur to break this down, and quite rightly. I mean, the defensive record of Nicolas at this tournament has been phenomenal. Only conceded 13 goals so far. That's an average of about 2.6 per match. And when we look at some of the results from yesterday, we had like 11 threes and whatnot. It is very impressive that Nicolas is thriving in this meta.
R9. The Cancelo. And Mbappe almost with a great standing challenge, but possession still with Rasta. Varane. Blanc, who we saw gave up a penalty in his last time out.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that Blanc is one of the interesting inclusions. I don't know whether that's just personal preference from RastaArtur or he likes the height advantage, of course. I'll go back to it several times. Sometimes we see players use the FUT items they've actually got available to them at home. And Prime Blanc is a little bit cheaper than the likes of Team of the Year Varane.
Just a tiny bit. Just a smidge. 68 gone by. 1-0. But this is what we've seen from Rasta. He's not going to let the match get away from him. But at some point, you're going to have to answer. Luka gives it away. Hull it. Blanc plays it to the midfield. Ronaldo wins the header. And Neymar. Job on the dispossession. And Nicolas will build from the back.
So just looking at RastaArtur's lineup, I'm presuming that's Cancelo at right back. That's probably why we're seeing Blanc included and Van der Sar as well, just to give the chemistry to Varane as his centre-back counterpart. Just making sure that chemistry is best as possible. And then I would imagine that Cristiano Ronaldo has been linked up to Cancelo as well, or just shove an icon there.
Sandro to R9, the Brazilian sensation. Can Ronaldo help out his Portuguese mate here on the sticks? Mbappe ran into a trifecta of defenders.
It seems to be that's the story for both players at the moment. They're just running into bodies at either end. Both players tracking the through ball runs very effectively, but here's a little bit of a chance for Nicolas.
Ronaldo. Nice job letting it play through, but Cancelo. Great defending. Mbappe.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. Maldini just clipping Neymar as he was trying to make that through ball. Otherwise, he might have been in for a chance on goal. And you can see RastaArtur is desperate to hit on the counter-attack. Players flowing forward as soon as he gets that ball.
Now, what moves do you make now with here in the 83rd minute? Just trailing by a goal, you certainly don't want to give up a second. But if you can find the equalizer, boy, would that be big heading into leg two.
Well, one thing I was very impressed by with RastaArtur during the quarterfinals is despite going 2 goals down, he still stuck to his game plan against MBD. He still went for, I'm going to play drop back, I'm going to absorb the pressure, I'm going to hit you on the counter-attack. And it worked. I mean, he won 7-4 in the end. He was able to secure so many goals. Of course, the ones in the latter stage were just because MBD was pushing forward and he had naturally more gaps at the back. But I do feel like RastaArtur is reluctant to release his normal and default tactics. I feel like he's only going to switch up to something new if he's desperate. And maybe if he were like 3 or 4 goals behind, or if we get to the stages where he's only got a few minutes left, maybe 20 minutes in the game and has to switch things up.
He'll lay it off on the free kick. Nicolas from Argentina. Those all-white kits. Does Rasta have a counter in him? Pull it. On the foot of Mbappe, a nice run and a beautiful timed shot there by Lionel Messi in the 86th minute. The substitute makes the difference.
And just a couple of changes from Nicolas as well. He wasn't happy with the 1-goal lead, and it's a brilliant pass and move. Notice that run from Messi. And it's a green time finish just to the left of the goalkeeper. And that's going to be a little bit frustrating for RastaArtur as he's kept so close in this game for so long. And now he does trail by that 2-goal cushion that I was talking about, which means that he will have to consider a different game plan in the second leg.
An inner tap of the boot to the top shelf for the greatest to ever do it, Lionel Messi. Neymar on the drag back. Can Rasta answer late? No, Maldini has other ideas. Out to Ronaldo, up the right wing. Another through ball. Does a Lionel have another one in him? He'll cross it in. And Cancelo didn't elevate, but he does clear it out of the 18. And here's a lofted through ball back the other way. Ronaldo trying to flick it up, but Cancelo playing well on both sides.
Yeah, that's a shame for RastaArtur there in that he had one more chance. Maybe should have just popped a cross in there and hoped for the best, but I appreciate the attempt to just try to flick the ball over that right back. And Nicolas is looking well on form in this console semi-final on the PS4 side of things. Still only conceded 13 goals so far in this tournament. On the other side, he's scored 26 now, so doubling his goal difference. For RastaArtur, as I said, he was very resilient in his quarterfinal. He wouldn't change his tactics, and he still came from behind. Maybe he will try the same in the opening stages of this second leg. But it's whether Nicolas is going to provide him with any opportunities to counter-attack, Scott.
I don't want to speak for the production crew here, but he can take that towel home with you. We're not going to need that towel back there from RastaArtur. Man, when you think about Rasta here, down 2 goals, heading into leg number 2. I know you like to absorb and then counterattack. That's almost out the window.
For
at least the first 30.
Maybe he can try it for the opening stages of the game. Because I feel like if I hadn't seen the quarterfinal against MBD, I would have said, change things up straight away. It's not working. But it did work in his quarterfinal. I think he'll know that as well. He'll know that he was presented with the opportunities. But are we comparing Nicolas and MBD as similar players? No, they're completely different players. MBD is a very much more attacking flair kind of player, whereas Nicolas is going to be more than happy now to run this game and control the possession. And that's a scary factor for RastaArtur. Nicolas is one of the best defensive players in the game at the moment, in my opinion.
Right now, Rasta very deep in those tactical changes. We're sitting behind him. Of course, won't give anything away. And maybe he's just double checking that things are the way he needs them to be. Certainly has the talent. Just needs a few bounces to go his way. And almost needs a clean sheet here in the second leg.
Yeah, you have to feel if Nicolas is going to get a third goal, that might just be too steep a hill for RastaArtur here. But there were chances for Rasta in that first leg to try and get a goal back. Tried a couple of low-driven shots, but they weren't timed green, and that will be maybe playing on his mind to say, all right, if I had timed those green, would I have been able to secure that goal? And almost a signature towel now that we see being brought around with him. Smaller than a towel, but bigger than a flannel. What do we call it?
In America, it would be a hand towel?
Right, okay, yeah. No, I think we do the same in England. And it's very important. I mean, your hands do get very sweaty. I've seen quite a lot of FIFA players actually nowadays just bringing a hand towel with them to make sure that they're not slipping on their thumbsticks, etc.
Well, sometimes the studio is of a warm nature, and you do need a towel. Sometimes you get in these studios that are like walking into a freezer, and you need the hand warmer, you know, to keep the fingers loose.
I think what's funny is back when I used to play in 2009, we used to bring towels and kind of toss them at our opponents to say, oh, you're a sweaty player, here's a towel. It was almost considered an insult. Now, it's a necessity. It's a blank white towel. Let's get some sponsors on that. let's get a Sporting FC.
Second leg. 2-0 on aggregate in favor of the Argentinian #1 player on PlayStation 4, Nicolas. Or Nicolas.
I mean, it's...
I don't feel very footballish with Nicolas.
Again, it's just my natural Englishman kicking in where I just say the most English name I can.
Pull it. Opening build-up here for Rasta. Boy, what an early goal changed the landscape. Neymar! Scoop, turn, fire! The Brazilian has brought him back within one. What a gem from Rasta.
Well, you said you wanted an early one, and there it was. Fantastic movement in the box as well from RastaArtur. And the low-driven keeper's going to get nowhere near it. It's those kind of goals he'd been searching for in the first leg, but he wasn't getting the space that he'd wanted. An incredible through ball, and then just beating the defender, just getting far enough away so that he had the glimpse on goal. And now we do have a semi-final on our hands.
Well, it's a 6-minute goal for Neymar.
Number 7,
from Brazil, makes his home at PSG. And if you didn't know that, you just got the internet today. 1-0 here in leg 2 for Rasta. Brings them within a goal aggregate. Nicolas with a chance to answer.
I don't think we'll see any massive drastic changes from Nicolas in his game plan, whether he's a goal ahead or 2 at this point. He'll still continue to just hold the ball, play possession game.
Oh, that is filthy, disgusting. R9 answering in the 12th minute with an absolute low-driven banger.
It's always when he gets into that box, it's simple scoop turns or drag backs, whatever he fancies. So difficult to defend against Nicolas, despite the fact one of the best defensive players going forward as well. He's so threatening, and I feel like him and Tex have been learning from one another since their E-Club World Cup outing. I see elements of both of their games now kind of crossing over into each other's, and it's beautiful to watch.
He was marked. You saw Varane coming over to provide some assistance, but he broke himself all the way down to his knee. Couldn't get anywhere near the power behind that shot.
And I do think that's one of my favorite things about FIFA 19. You do get different styles across the competitors. You get your attacking players like Tex, like Kurt, for example. Very good going forward. You know you're going to see goals. And then you've got your defensive players like Nicolas, like Dax. Very good at possession. But it's when you get that crossover, when you get that combination of both, which Nicolas has started to really do well. He flourishes going forward and defending now, which makes him a very formidable force. And I really feel like he is going to be a huge challenge to any of those Xbox players if he's able to move on to that console versus console final.
It's the guys that can go box to box. They're almost impossible to prepare for. Eliminating those weaknesses, becoming strengths. That's what you see from a player like Nicolas. And now up 2 goals, he'll take his time. I wouldn't say he's wasting it. Certainly being careful with the build-up.
It's just time management. It's just sensible play. Reduce your opponent's possession and they're not going to be having chances on goal, but he's given that one away. And RastaArtur needs to take full advantage of these very few opportunities he's going to get going forward.
Cristiano, little drag back. Neymar, see if he gets the extra pass, but Mbappe will pull the trigger and turned away. Maybe had an opportunity for one more through ball, but you can't ever question Mbappe pulling the trigger.
And I don't know whether maybe RastaArtur just not warmed up yet, not hitting those greens timed. We see some players in the circuit who will never miss a green. Tex, one of them. Envy's Jazz has been one player that's really impressed me with how well he hits greens left, right, and center. I thought he would get a little bit further in the tournament, if I am honest, but he's still performing very well as of late. But RastaArtur maybe just needs to focus up with a couple of his timings, and he might see more of those goals.
Bullet now. Back to Alex. Sandro. Ronaldo. Mbappe here for Rasta. Has a man out on the right side. Neymar Jr. Little roulette. But in the end, it's given away.
A little bit more experimenting from RastaArtur going forward. I'm liking it. And it's only going to be a matter of time before he's going to be presented with a clear-cut chance. He just needs to take it to really set this semi-final alight, I feel. Because if Nicolas is able to grab a 4th goal, it's not going to be fire, it's just going to be cold, it's going to be wintry, and we're going to be covered in ice. As Chewboy said, Game of Thrones will be arriving.
We had a goal from Neymar in the 6th minute here in the 2nd leg. But Nicolas answered back just 6 minutes later with a low driven from R9. And that keeps the aggregate at a 2-goal differential. Vieira over to Hullet. Vieira again. Searching. And Blanc with a clearance.
But even with the clearance, it's just going straight back into the feet of a white shirt. And Nicolas is going to be more than happy to bide his time and build up. It's simple ball rolls and croquetas to make space, but a little bit of pressure from RastaArtur. He just needs to be able to nip one of these balls away a little bit higher up the pitch to really give him that counter-attacking opportunity that he's been searching for. And I would imagine at half-time, he's probably going to switch things up.
You talked about clock management. And here it is at the 45 with 2 minutes extra time. Does give it away. Chance for a possession here for Rasta. Here at the end of halftime. Neymar. Looking for a target. Keeps it himself. Still has it. Mbappe! And Ronaldo would have been right there to provide the goal, but it gets away from him.
And it's
still
so
alive
sloppy.
for R9. Perfectly timed. And then Neymar. Second, third, fourth. Over 9,000 effort. And we are 1 goal away once again.
And it's a massive shame for Nicolas. He's done pretty well defensively, I've got to be honest. He was trying to shrug players off the ball. He saw both of the advanced fake shots, but somehow RastaArtur was able to keep hold of the ball. And I'll give credit to Rasta. I mean, he did keep his composure. He did still play the pass. He wasn't quickly firing, pulling the trigger. But that's a gift back into the game, I feel now. But he needed it. And I'm sure he's going to be more than happy to go in just 1 goal behind now at halftime in this second leg.
An attack full of person. There in stoppage time at the end of the first half. And he knows he's within striking distance. And perhaps the conversation totally different if he was trailing by 2. But now just behind a goal, he knows he still have an opportunity for an all-Portuguese final. But he's going to need to play an absolute gem of a 45.
I did love the double advance fake shot with Neymar on the right-hand side, though. When you get in those positions now, because of how the current meta is, you're expecting either one of 2 things. Are they going to El Tornado, or are they going to try and get in? And you saw, look how desperately Nicolas is trying to win that ball back. 3, 4 tackles gone amiss. But good composure from RastaArtur, despite the fact that Nicolas was constantly trying to get the ball back. When it lands at your feet there, you have 2 decisions. You say, am I just going to shoot straight away, or am I going to try and play this ball around and risk getting tackled? Second half then, in the second leg. Nicolas just needs to forget about that one and not let it frustrate him.
Well, he was lucky that it was a clean tackle at the 6-yard box. But Ronaldo was able to chase it down. R9 with the shot. And then Neymar, just a complete peppering of the frame. It leads to a goal. And now, Nicolas with a giveaway on his opening possession of the second half. Can Rasta bring us level?
I mean, the answer is yes, he can. He does have the ability to do so. He was one of my favorite players back at the first tournament in Paris Games Week. First tournament of FIFA 19. Of course, PlayStation only tournament, that one. Very creative when he was going forward. It looks like a very different player nowadays. More than happy to just sit back and wait for the counter-attack, but these players do just adjust to what's presented in front of them.
Mbappe now. Little croqueta, able to pull it through. Mbappe. Modric. And we've seen several changes, and anytime Luka comes on, you know also the attack is coming as well. Mbappe on the feet of Neymar, tries to turn.
Ah, that's sloppy. Sloppy and quick, but he's still managed to regain possession there, RastaArtur. That's fortunate for him. He needs to make sure he's not too hasty with his attack when he does win the ball back, because Nicolas is going to be so slow in building up and just managing that clock that he is just going to apply that pressure to win the ball back, and he's done it again, Nicolas. His defense really is phenomenal, using that second man press and then switching over to make sure he dives in and makes that challenge. Very difficult to attack against. If you have one little doubt in your mind about where you're going to pass, you're going to struggle against him.
Hold it. Cancelo able to keep possession. And see who had that tremendous standing challenge on Hullet. But enough to send it the other way. Referee says play the advantage. And Neymar will flick it up and serve it in.
And it's just a shame there that's fallen on Mbappe's head. Maybe needed to add a little bit more power behind it to the back post to get to Cristiano Ronaldo. We might have been seeing 3-3 there. So I think Nicolas would have been more than happy to see Mbappe, of all people, leaping for it.
And another advantage played by our match official. And there was the back post, but Van der Sar just too wise to not get that in his mitts.
But that was an opportunity for Nicolas there. He opted to just go for a normal cross. He could have held down that L1 button and hit that cross a little bit higher and towards the back post, and maybe the keeper would have fluffed at it. Definitely chances going begging for Nicolas as well, and he needs that 2-goal cushion, I feel, because RastaArtur does look dangerous on the counter.
Alessandro gets it out of his final defense. Cancelo runs into Mbappe.
I mean, it was Mbappe running into Cancelo. Again, Nicolas just relentless with the amount of pressure. Even if he is on drop back, even if he is defending, he certainly knows how to manually defend as well. Moving those players into all of the right positions. I remember back in London, we were all in awe at the absolute masterclass of Nicolas and how he defended. It's a different patch now and a different chance with other opportunities to arise, but he's still defending successfully. And it still is a pleasure to watch.
And Blanco will receive the card. Remember the advantage played a few moments ago. But the match official with the strong memory goes back and puts him in his book. And these are the waning moments.
This is what separates your champions from just guys who are going to finish in your semi-finals. It's about closing out these games, and that's what Nicolas does so well. And I spoke about RastaArtur and how, like, what these global series ranking points would mean for him to kind of push himself up towards that top 10. For Nicolas, it's about just creating that gap between first and second. We see Tex do it on the Xbox side of things, with Stefano Pina unfortunately falling from this tournament already. Nicolas has a real chance to put himself heads and shoulders, sorry, above everyone else. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
We haven't seen a bicycle kick, but it could happen. We're in the 77th minute. Luckily to be just turned away. They're outside the 18. Had a target man inside. And here's some opportunity, but Neuer not able to let Lionel Messi get into his grasp.
I think we're going to start to see more lofted through balls as these tournaments go on. Certainly Ajax Danny had sussed something out. I saw him constantly loft through ball left wing. Mbappe always getting on the end of it time and time again. And especially if your opponent isn't switched on, not defending well against it, it's going to present several opportunities.
Modric on the feet of Messi, back to Luka. Looking, searching! And it goes begging.
It took a deflection, I feel, so it might be a corner here, but that deflection almost looked like it was going to go hurtling into the back of the net, and that would have been terrible for Nicolas, really. He would have felt extremely hard done by, but he's going to have his back against the wall in these last 8 minutes, because you know RastaArtur is going to be coming forward now, looking for that equalizer.
And we should have a corner here. I'm with you. The angle of that shot did change on a deflection. And here comes the corner. Messi. And we'll do it again. 84th minute now. Ibra also makes a debut. Sabio. That's enough to win the goal kick.
And you can see the difference. I mean, if we think about that, it's only one goal in it, and Nicolas's first goal was that set piece, that creative set piece to the back post of Cristiano Ronaldo, just nodding it down to the Brazilian Ronaldo. Whereas RastaArtur didn't really have much to offer from that corner. The short passes weren't getting past the defense.
Messi, the cross, it's early, and it's beautiful. Nicolas with an 87th minute goal. Messi with a beautiful early cross. That's right on the money.
And that was always going to be the risk of happening. As soon as RastaArtur threw everything forward, there were going to be gaps at the back. He tried to move his goalkeeper, hoping to catch maybe a shot to his right, but in the end, it was just an open goal for Cristiano Ronaldo, an open goal for Nicolas, and an open way through to another console final for him.
I love me some Ibra, but once I saw Ibra come in, you knew all the cards were being put on the table. Unable to track back.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of
2 minutes extra time before allowing Nicolas to punch his ticket to the final. Well, he'll face Tuga. Ibra. Ronaldo.
And it's just a little bit too late, unfortunately, for RastaArtur. How desperately he would have loved that goal earlier on. Nicolas is going to have the kickoff. It's already into the 93rd minute. And surely you feel like the referee's going to blow. But it's been a great performance from RastaArtur, his best performance yet in the FIFA 19 season. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to secure the 625 Global Series ranking points, but it's all Nicolas. It's the Iceman again, securing his spot in the console finals and continuing his dominance in FIFA 19.
See the love as the competitors embrace GGs all around. But it's the two-way play of Nicolas, doing it on both ends, defensively, offensively, and making the best of his opportunities. And for Rasta, nothing to hang your head about. You came in here, you played well, but you ran up against an absolute buzzsaw.
And Nicolas really showed us what he's made of, and he is going to be one of the favorites for the competition. I'm really excited to see what comes up in the console finals.
Well, a lot more coming here from ELEAGUE in Atlanta. Don't go anywhere.
Try to keep us underground, but the top is where we're found.
And the stage is set for the grand finals. What a match it was, though, in the semis. Nicolas versus RastaArtur was certainly a good one that we will break down extensively. Here you got GB, Mike, along with Chu and Alan. Okay, so this was a huge opportunity and a tall task for RastaArtur, but it will be Nicolas's day. First, though, let's dive into the highlights, discuss some of this stuff. Alan, I want to start with you here. Early thoughts on this matchup here in leg one.
Well, I want Rasta to know that he played very well. I'm certain that he did Sporting proud and all of his fans. And in this game, I feel like Nicolas showed up in the defensive aspect of things. He didn't score that many goals. Rasta did attack very well. La Croqueta, we saw plenty of La Croquetas, a lot of skill moves. But I believe that Nicolas played great in the defensive aspect. Yeah. He buried his chances, and that helped him.
Lots of emotion there for both players. And Nicolas just so good at keeping the ball for extended periods of time, not really allowing Rasta to get those openings, get those opportunities. They were few and far between.
Yeah, they were few and far between, and that's what Nicolas does. He kind of just, I guess he suffocates your defense, your attack, your everything. And luckily, RastaArtur did get a goal there in the first half. And I mean, this was I won't lie to you guys, this was a bit of 45th minute cheese here. I mean, a lot of shots on target. Nicolas will feel very unlucky. You know, the Chad knows what I'm talking about on that 45th minute cheese, but in the end, Nicolas, he knows what's good. His coach knows what's going on too. You know, he brushes it off. And this is what I like about Nicolas. He brushes anything that goes against him, brushes it off, goes out the other end, and does what he does.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to have that, right? Others could blame the game. Others, though, just need to be able to say, hey, we got to move forward here. We got a game to win. We got to get our game face on.
Well, there's going to be good fortune and luck that goes your way and sometimes goes against you. That's just part of FIFA, and it's always going to be that way. No matter what title and what the gameplay looks like, there will always be luck involved at a tournament because players are so close, they're so even, that sometimes that's what separates you.
It's that little bit.
Like a little good bounce back here and there, and then taking that opportunity. You still have to grab it and make sure that you're ready for that big moment. And I felt like this was a match that was vintage Nicolas. It just felt like he was always going to win the game. He controlled the speed of the game. And if you play at Nicolas' speed, I don't know if there's anyone better than Nicolas at that. And it'll make sense in theory. And Rasta did have very limited chances. And I just feel like there's not players in the world better than Nicolas for that type of game plan. If you're going to have a very slow, controlled, almost just a structured approach to defending and attacking, it doesn't get much better than Nicolas. You really need to speed him up, make him uncomfortable, and that's kind of what we see, or what we saw with Mo Alba. I know I keep referencing that game, but I just never seen him so under pressure because he takes pride in being the Iceman, right? Not feeling anything. He's good to go, no emotion. You got to smile out of him. That was, and it's when he conceded as well.
Well, now the Iceman finds himself in the finals, and we actually have Kay standing by with Nicolas.
Thanks, guys. We do, and also with Desiree, who's going to help us translate too. So let's start by asking Nicolas how he's feeling after getting past another phase. Has pasado otra prueba. ¿Qué sensaciones tienes?
Estoy, no sé si podría decir feliz, estoy bastante como enojado conmigo mismo por el hecho de cómo jugué. Creo que jugué el primer tiempo del primer partido jugué bien, después el resto me fui decayendo y jugando peor, pero creo que fue merecido que yo pase a la final.
I'm definitely happy with winning, and I'm still, you know, a little angry at myself with how I approached part of the game. In the first half, I was doing great. Then I kind of stumbled towards the middle, but at the end, I was able to pull on through.
Gracias. ¿Y cómo te preparaste anoche?
No me preparé en sí, solo comí y dormí muchas horas, no hago nada más.
So I asked how he prepared himself last night.
I didn't really do much for preparing. I kind of just ate and went to sleep. Just kind of did my typical normal night routine.
Very chill, like the Iceman is. Okay, ¿sabes algo de tu próximo rival, Tuga? Do you know anything about your next rival, Tuga?
Lo conozco, lo he visto poco, pero sé que está jugando muy bien. El nuevo parche le vino muchísimo mejor. Además, su estilo de juego juega súper bien. Lo he visto no mucho, pero tiene un estilo bastante bueno de lo poco que he visto y va a ser un rival muy duro.
I do know him. I haven't seen him lately. However, you know, it is definitely going to be a difficult kind of game. And so far, like I said, I haven't really seen him lately, but I'm looking forward to playing with him.
So we're just going to ask him one last question about how respected he is in the community. Eres uno de los jugadores más respetados en la comunidad de FIFA. ¿Qué significa para ti?
No lo sé si más respetados, no sabría cómo tomármelo, pero no sabría qué responderte. Feliz, se podría decir, no lo sé, pero está bastante bueno estar entre los jugadores, no sé si top mundial, pero entre buenos jugadores y eso que hace que mi trabajo duro o todo lo que vengo haciendo está como dando sus frutos.
Sounds to me, Desiree, that he's very modest.
Yes, he really is. I didn't even really know that I was even perceived that way in the community. I guess I'm very honored and very happy that, that I am, and hopefully I can keep this up and everything. But, ¿cuál era la segunda?
Era como que es bueno que mi trabajo, el trabajo que hice esté dando sus frutos.
I'm very happy that with my job and everything that I do, that people can take something good out of it.
Thank you so much for your help, and best of luck. Buena suerte. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Kay, for that one. Nicolas as well. Such a nice guy.
What
He's
a
the kind of guy you just want to cheer
Let me
for.
do that, Nicolas. Every time he scores.
It's like, yeah, I just scored the best goal we've ever seen. Sorry. Basically.
I'm telling you, Nicolas is at home. He spends more time at events than he does in his own living room. Like, this is where he's comfortable, and that's why you see him on the big stage, and he just keeps getting the job done.
Yeah, well, with that win, Nicolas will move on to the grand finals of the PS4 side of things. For that final, it's going to be him versus Tuga. So he took down one Portuguese player. Now he needs to take down another. Tuga, though, looking for revenge for his countrymen, perhaps, but more importantly, looking to get those 1,500 points, Alan, very important, and make their way over to the grand final later on today. This is going to be a great matchup.
Exactly, and as you guys heard in the interview, I speak Spanish, but I understood what he was saying. He was basically saying that Tuga has a distinct play style that he's seen that he's been doing good. In certain aspects, he made it this far. So he knows he's going to have a pretty interesting matchup, and he just wants to keep playing his game. And I feel like it's going to be a great matchup. Like I said, they got the nerves out of the way. Tuga, he showed some nerves. Nicolas, you already know the Iceman, calm, doing his thing. So we'll see how Tuga comes into this match against the top contender.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun. Very fun to check that one out. But that is a wrap on PS4 for now. Coming up next, though, we have Xbox taking the stage, and it's going to be a banger of a game. We got MegaBit versus Tex, your first semifinal. Don't go anywhere. This is ELEAGUE FUT Champions Cup February. some Cheez-Its. I love it, just swimming around with the Cheez-Its. You gotta love that shot. It's always a good one there. Some of the players, some of the fans throwing Cheez-Its in the air, waving like they just don't.
Oh. Yo, that's Tubasuki right there, famous FIFA streamer.
There it is.
My guy. He just threw a cheese in his mouth. Someone gift that, please. Clip it.
All right, well, we are now on to the Xbox semifinals. GB along with Chu, Alan, and Dan. Danny boy, you're joining us here, and I want to get your thoughts. Bring you in first. Got two great matches here for the semifinals.
I mean, we've got our three top players on the Xbox side of things, and they've all managed to get to the console semifinals. And the Royals worked his way in there as well, but he knows what it's like to be in these kind of stages. So this is an extremely exciting Xbox side of things. I mean, the PS4 side of things was amazing as well, but this is going to be incredible.
Yeah, and then the matchup that we're focusing on first is MegaBit versus Tex. Now, starting with MegaBit. Now, here's some of his stats, but what I really want to talk about was his interview yesterday with Kay, because she asked him how he was feeling, if he was confident, and everyone's been saying that MegaBit is feeling great. This could be it. He could take out Tex here. Tex has been on a roar true this entire time. Is this MegaBit's time to shine?
You know, it's possible because last time they did meet, I believe, MegaBit beat Tex 6-4 in the February Gfinity LQE, correct, Dan? In the Xbox semifinals as well. So he does have, I think it's a 4-1 record to Tex, but the last time they met up, MegaBit did win. So he probably, maybe he does have Tex's number.
Feel like history's going to repeat itself, Alan?
He sounded very confident in that interview. He wasn't even asked what he thought about like coming up against Tex, and he went straight for it. He said, "I'm going to beat
Alpha,
Tex."
I'm telling you guys,
like,
alpha.
Alpha mentality. And I just want to see if he lives up to those words. He is currently in third place, 1 point behind second place Decisive. So this is going to be a good matchup that could possibly put him on top of Decisive.
Glad you brought up the rankings there. Third in the rankings, but number one by a landslide is this man right here, Tex. He has been dominant throughout this competition. 3-0 Swiss record. In the round of 16, he defeated Cofolo, and then in the round of 8, defeated Felipe. But that one, you know, got a little dicey there, a little early for Tex, and then Tex just did what he does best. Dominates.
There's been a few scary moments for Tex, and this is a big tournament for him. He hasn't got past the semi-final in his last 3 tournaments, hasn't got to a console versus console final in his last 4 tournaments, and he is the best player in the world. That's what everyone is saying about him. So there's a lot of pressure on him. I mean, to add on to that as well, I didn't know if you know, but he's flying out back to the UK tonight at 10 o'clock to make the Liverpool EPL playoffs tomorrow at 2:30 as well. Of course, the EPL being late March, and he wants to represent Liverpool as a Liverpool fan. So God knows what's going through his head right now. Do I perform here? Do I want to represent Liverpool later on?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I tell you, I've done that flight across the pond many times coming from the United States. Not fun. Not a fun flight. You and I have done that a couple times as well. So, and to go and play a really high-pressure situation like that, it's going to be very difficult. All right, predictions, fellas. This is a big matchup. Let's get this out there. Chu, start with you.
I mean, I love Tex, but he is on his way to go represent Liverpool. I'm a United fan. And United Liverpool did play today. It was 0-0. I'm sure Tex knows that. So I'm going to go with MegaBit. Just, you know, because me and Tex, you know, we always give each other crap for supporting our rivals. So
No
I'm going with
analysis, pure bias. You love
As
to see it.
always.
As always. That's what I got you here, buddy. Alan?
I know that he has, you know, had some history with MegaBit. Like Chu said, he did lose some games against MegaBit, but he has 6,000 points for a reason. He's a champion. He won in Bucharest, the FUT Champions Cup, LQE champ. He's always at these events. Just amazing performances. I feel like if we see the Tex that everybody knows in the attack, and he also adds the defensive aspect of things, he is going to win this.
Dan?
I can't see him going out in 4 semi-finals in a row. I just think this is going to be it now. He's going to get towards that console final, get towards the console versus console. So it's Tex for me.
All right, well, the desk has spoken. Now it's time to get into our first semi-final of the day. Let's send it over to your casters. You got Mike LaBelle and Matteo Bonetti.
Thanks so much for that. We are at the Boost Mobile caster desk, and we have a treat for you. Maybe the most anticipated matchup here in the Xbox Semifinals. It is Tex against MegaBit. This is what it's all about.
Stop what you're doing, turn on the stream, and this is going to be some of that fantastic gameplay. In terms of anticipation, there's not a better matchup. These guys have big history. They know they're going to have to keep facing off if they want to win on the Xbox side and get to that grand final. Whew, this is going to be a tight one. I'm expecting to see a lot of goals in this matchup.
And when we talked to both players before this game, both very calm, both very focused. Of course, that's exactly how you need to be to get to this stage and to do it consistently. Texas qualified for 11 out of 11 events that he's been eligible for. He is considered the favorite, world #1 in Xbox, going up against world #3 in Xbox in MegaBit, representing Werder Bremen. Here's how they got there. MegaBit defeated Extra 5-2 in the round of 16, and in the quarters, he beat Rogue and Razek 6-2 as well. Meanwhile, Tex, also undefeated in the Swiss stages, round of 16, he beat Vivi Cafolo 5-1. And then in the quarters, the Brazilian Felipe 4-2. Let's talk a bit about their playstyles and what we can expect in this matchup between Tex and MegaBit.
When you're analyzing MegaBit's gameplay, it's going to be fast-paced. He wants to play as quick as possible, get up to the attackers, and score a lot of goals. And I talked to MegaBit earlier today. He's saying he's feeling really confident on the defensive side, and it's going to make creating opportunities easier for him on the offensive end.
Here we go. We're live in Atlanta, Georgia, the Peach State. It's the FUT 19 Champions Cup here in February. MegaBit in the white and green, representing Werder Bremen, and F2 Tex in the red of his favored Liverpool, going from right to left. Should be absolute fireworks from what we've seen from both of these two gamers. Tex has shown all the skill, maybe the goal of the tournament, the rainbow flick, the Neymar flick in the Swiss stages, which brought down the studio. We have a live attendance as well, fans, and of course, all the thousands watching on from across the globe. Wherever you are, thanks for joining us, and I hope you'll enjoy all the action.
And what Gaskin brought up as well as his prediction, saying, I can't see Tex losing 4 semifinals in a row. And that's true. You got to sit there and think, is he going to drop 4 in a row? Are we going to see maybe a new transition in terms of Xbox dominance, maybe MSDossary, maybe MegaBit, or is Tex just going to sit up there by himself at that lonely #1 position?
And there's the icon, Vieira, winning the ball back, as he so often does for MegaBit. They love getting Vieira in between the defenders, intercepting those passes in the final third. Now Tex out wide to CR7. The drag back to try to maybe find room for the cross in. Elects to go back to Vieira. Now CR7 again. Hullet, quick pass, but it's intercepted by Ruud Hullet.
And when you're looking at Tex gameplay, it's going to be a little bit different than what MegaBit's looking to do on the offensive end, and even on the defensive end with some of the pressure. Tex is very creative with the skill moves. He understands the meta extremely well. And in terms of some of the build-up opportunities in the counterattacks, it's going to have different shape to how they attack and how they go forward.
And there was a slight chance for a counter there from MegaBit, but he just trying to reset possession. Didn't really see the right passing lane going forward, but here he is with plenty of options forward. CR7, a little flick over the top to Mbappe, back to Marcelo, trying to cross it in, but Rafa Varane with the interception for Tex. Now, Tex hasn't gotten further than the semifinal in the last 3 individual tournaments. He did win the Club World Cup, though, when he partnered with PS4 #1 Nicolas. MegaBit with a bit of room now. Messi on his left. Neymar just trying to get around Varane, but it's intercepted beautifully there by Ramos.
And both of these players have matched up multiple times over the last couple of years. So I'm just going to run through some results so you guys get a little bit of a history lesson.
Oh, hold that thought as Mbappe just trying to flick it over. Neymar. Hullet to Vieira. There was a run being made by R9. Tex didn't want to play it there. Now here is R9, the legendary Brazilian. Neymar back to R9. Ball up in the air. And it's David De Gea who collects it calmly, as you were saying, Mike.
Yeah, sure hands from De Gea. Back in Barcelona in FIFA 18, Tex won. Manchester, Tex won. Bucharest, Tex barely won this year. Bucharest the second time. Once again, Tex barely slipped by getting the W. And then in London, MegaBit was able to get the result. Remember, he lost in the grand final to Pina. He didn't necessarily represent for the Xbox guys. And here we are, another major, Atlanta, Georgia.
A lot of money on the line, a lot of points on the line, bragging rights on the line, you name it.
Ask both these players what they would do with the money. We'll get to that in a second. Here's Hullet for MegaBit. This is the first good chance, and MegaBit with the first goal. It was driven into the bottom corner from Neymar, first time. And could we have a surprise here on our hands? It's MegaBit, the German, who strikes first.
Classic finish, no reaction from MegaBit. He knows that this game is far from over. A lot more action. He's going to need to extend that lead. And someone like Tex will always battle back.
We've seen Tex go behind already in this tournament, but he has always fought back. But he is facing MegaBit, who plays very fast and looks to score goals in bunches. One of the very few players who has represented two sides in esports. First, Bochum in the second division of Bundesliga. Here's Tex now with a bit of room. CR7, Neymar to Hullet. Mbappe, but it's won back by Vieira. Just a little bit of a mess trying to clear that ball. And CR7 sends that ball way above the crossbar.
Tex wants to hit rewind on that opportunity. Put a little bit too much oomph behind it, so to speak. That could definitely have been in the back of the net. A little bit of good fortune in the build-up play, though.
Oh, MegaBit there trying to get forward again. And you mentioned that prize pool, everything that is at stake. $50,000 on the line to the cross-console winner. Either one of these two players could go all the way. Tex said he wants to take his mother to San Francisco, to a dream destination, while MegaBit says he wants to add some furniture to his apartment. So very different styles of what they anticipate on doing with that pool. And it was a first-time effort, blocked well by Paulo Maldini. And MegaBit now had an option out wide, keeping it central. Here's CR7 and Vieira back for Tex.
That makes me think that MegaBit's apartment is just an office. He's got 3 monitors, a couple consoles, and he's just playing FIFA all day, man. He's grinding it out. No furniture needed. Maybe he's got a bed in there.
Well, they're traveling so much. MegaBit did say that he bought a couch with his last winning, so good for you, MegaBit. Here's a chance for Texas. R9 trying to find that top corner, but it's central to De Gea. Something, Mike, that we've talked about and we've seen often is that goalkeeper movement. Oftentimes it is a mental game between the two players.
And you're going to see it at every level. If you're playing online, if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player new to FIFA 19, and it's something that you must learn and you must master, it's going to be a big advantage, or it could be a major
Oh, look at this. That header's in for Neymar. It was a give and go between the two Paris Saint-Germain players, Mbappe and Neymar. And we have a 2-0 on our hands. MegaBit over #1 in the rankings on Xbox, Tex. And it is starting to be more of an uphill battle now for Donovan Hunt representing England. Absolutely ruthless, Mike, MegaBit, when he goes forward.
And we're going to see an early adjustment here. I wonder if we're going to see any changes on MegaBit's end. It didn't look like that Tex made any adjustments on his side, so MegaBit must see something that he wants to adjust, that he wants to change, but he's been very clinical, and if you're going to win tournaments, you must be clinical. We talk about it almost every commentary. We talk about it on the booth. We talk about it when we're analyzing. The guys that take their chances are the guys that are going to go through, especially at this level, because you just don't necessarily make opportunity on opportunity on opportunity.
All right, then. 44th minute heading into the half, and MegaBit in the first leg. Remember, there's 2 games that they have to play. Of course, there's no home and away, so you can throw that out the window. It is purely based on aggregate. Still plenty of time. 3 halves for Tex to get his way back in this one. We are in the Xbox Semifinals.
And a clever pick out from MegaBit as well with that cross.
Oh, there is the El Tornado cross to the near post, but it is Maldini that wins it. Chance here for R9, and it's intercepted by Maldini. Great defending from MegaBit in that first half, and here is the statistical breakdown of what we just saw. Talk about the changes. Tex said he went to a 4-4-2 when he was down a goal early on in the Swiss stages, and that was what helped him get through one of those early games where things weren't going his way. Do you anticipate a change of that sort?
I don't think we're going to see a 4-4-2. I think that would cater towards MegaBit and the style of play that he wants to execute against Tex. I think it's going to be more of an advantage for him playing fast and being able to counter. But 2-0 is a very dangerous lead. We've seen a lot of comebacks. 2-goal spread is definitely not enough to hold off top caliber players.
See a little pep talk there, halftime for MegaBit.
A lot of these players do have coaches. MegaBit getting some information whispered in his ear, and whatever that was, you give that man a raise. MegaBit doing really well after 45 minutes. It is a 2-goal lead as we head into the second half of the first leg. The German MegaBit, third in the world in Xbox, against the #1 and tournament favorite here at the FUT 19 Champions Cup in Atlanta, Georgia. Hope you're enjoying the action. We certainly are. A lot of talent on display, a lot of great goals we've seen throughout, and of course, several surprises. But these are two of the heavyweights looking to make their way to the console final. And here is Tex in possession. Let's see how many more players he sends forward. And again, Mike, there's still a lot of time. Obviously, if this was the second leg and he needed to make up 2 goals, he'd do something a bit more drastic.
Tex doesn't need us to tell him this, but I'm sure that he's not going to rush or change anything major at this point.
Oh, that was close, wasn't it? A little back pass from MegaBit using Varane back to the keeper. It was a good idea from Tex as he has made his way into the box. And a slower build-up now from MegaBit.
And with this new patch, MegaBit's defense has improved tremendously. I think that's partially because he was struggling with some of the goalkeeper movement and some of the long finesse shots in the pre-patch variation or version of this title. And I just feel like defensively, he just looks so sound. No big mistakes. No easy opportunities up to this point. Maybe a couple half chances at best.
Consistency is what it's all about for Tex. 11 out of 11 events he has qualified, but the last 2 times in individual tournaments, he has not gone further than the semifinal. Still a very good achievement. And now just barreling down the throat of MegaBit with a lot more players in the final third. It was trickery there from Neymar trying to create a bit of space, but again, that defense from MegaBit.
But for Tex, the semis is not enough, at least not for his expectation.
Getting De Gea a bit warmed up. That is a signature kick save that we see from De Gea both in game and in real life for Manchester United. A little bit of a smile as well from MegaBit. Rare display of emotion. Tex now back on the ball. Needs to start peppering that goal of MegaBit a bit more. He hasn't had too many. Clear-cut chances, and that's maybe been the most surprising thing so far.
And you can see the frustration and the focus on F2 Tex a face when you're looking at when he gives the ball away. Or he's not able to break down MegaBit at the moment.
Another great chance here for MegaBit. Messi loves it on his left, but Ferdinand, one of the used icons in that center back. Varane, Ramos when he's not used at right back, and of course Ferdinand. Here is Tex looking at Mbappe's goal. Space, and it's in Mbappe in the 69 advantage now for MegaState on that near post.
And that slow, controlled, you pass it to him. Most valuable skill moves, especially when you have players, usually the fastest player in the game. And then the pressure's back on MegaBit.
In terms of winning those aerial battles when the ball is whipped in.
I might even take that. That's a must-have.
Mbappe on
opportunities.
Modric now for MegaBit, as you can just feel the drama in the arena. Conte is now on the pitch in the midfield, just sitting right in front of that back line for the German. And the German seems like momentum has swung in the other direction. Tex was 2 goals down, and he has made it 2-2. We knew this one would have goals, and we knew it would be close. No blowout here at the moment. Conte to Eusebio. And look at Hullet just breathing down his neck, not able to find any room in the final third. Here's Modric. He was trying to find Eusebio, a little deflection from Hullet, and it's back to the Liverpool kid, worn by Tex. He's a massive Liverpool fan. He actually has to go play in England tomorrow. Not sure how that's going to work out with the flights. It's going to be a long few days for Tex.
If anyone can do it, it's F2 Tex. And when you're looking at the gameplay, especially in the second half of the first leg, MegaBit is not nearly as decisive going forward. In the first half, it looked like he was never second-guessing, and that he was really pushing an agenda of how he's going to score and putting pressure on Tex. And now Tex is adjusted. You're seeing him reset, swinging it side to side, fullback to fullback, and he's using a lot more wing play before going to the inside.
And here's what you'll notice about what the players are trying to get now. Who's pushing up that line? It's even at 2-2. Ronaldo heel to heel, trying to just go for the roulette, but it was cut out. And the first leg, it's 2-2 between Tex and MegaBit. We are in the Xbox Semifinals. Incredible drama. And break it down for us, Mike. Is this something that you anticipated, and what do you think we'll see in terms of changes going into the second?
Game management. And if I'm F2 Tex right now, I want to do the exact same thing, because he was making the opportunities. He had the possession play. And you just felt like the next goal is going to go in his favor. You could feel the momentum shift in that match.
Absolutely, you could. How did they get there? Both undefeated in the Swiss stages. Both MegaBit and Tex went 3-0, but for MegaBit, he did face Extra in the round of 16. He beat him 5-2, and then he beat Rogue Nicolas Rozek 6-2 in the quarters. So that's how he ended up in the semis of Xbox. Meanwhile, for Tex, 3-0 in the Swiss stages. Round of 16, he beat Vivi Cofolo 5-1. And in the quarters, he beat Felipe. The last 3 individual tournaments, Tex has not gone further than the semis, and that's nothing too bad. He did win the Club World Cup when he partnered with PS4 #1 Nicolas. And for MegaBit, who is known as one of the more dedicated players. He sounded awfully confident when we spoke to him before the game. And it could be anyone's game here, trying to get into that console final on the Xbox side.
It all comes down to the second leg. And if you're just tuning in, if for some reason this game ends in a draw, we've got extra time. And then if needed, penalty kicks, of course. But I have a feeling they're going to have a winner. I don't know if we're going to see extra time. I don't know if we're going to see penalty kicks. It's going to be all about if MegaBit can shift back to playing a little bit faster, maybe being a little more aggressive on the defensive end. I feel like he had a lot less takeaways in the second portion of that second leg, and that went against him.
Here we go. Second game between Tex and MegaBit. It's all even. 2 goals apiece on aggregate. Who gets to go to the console final? On the Xbox side, we saw Nicolas advancing over on a PS4. Here's CR7 to Hullet. It is Tex in the final third, looking to get off to a really good start, and he has done just that. CR7 just spanks it into the top corner. And there's the first warning shot. It only took a matter of seconds.
Small details, small touches, opens up just a tad bit of space. De Gea can pick that one out of the back of the net.
What a hit. What a hit. This is what Cristiano has done all tournament long, and that is true to his nature in real life. He often does go for power when he takes the shots in and around the box. He's done it for Juve, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and he always seems to find the top corner, the most lethal goal scorer of our generation.
And this is the first time that we've seen MegaBit behind. So is he going to be able to find that equalizer? Is he going to be able to climb back into this game?
Here's another great chance. CR7 looking to spin around from danger. He is absolutely unstoppable when he's in this form. And MegaBit's got no answers. He's gone down 2 goals now on aggregate.
One-time finish is good. Why not a second-time finish? Oh, Texas put in the pressure on MegaBit. 6 minutes in. 2-0 lead, 4-2 on aggregate. Couple defensive errors as well for MegaBit. He steps the wrong way. We haven't seen him go near post. We haven't seen him go far post. He's staying dead center, and he's kind of just letting the AI do its thing. He's not moving the goalkeeper.
Someone put the AC on in the studio. It just got scorching hot. I am dripping in sweat watching this from Tex against MegaBit, trying to get a quick one back through Messi. It leads to a corner, though, from MegaBit, representing Werder Bremen of the Bundesliga, the German, efficient, dedicated. A few of the adjectives used to describe Xbox's third best player in the rankings, at least. Remember, rankings can often go out the window. So many good players. And there's the El Tornado cross to the back post. Hullet read it well. Header out to Hullet. And here's Hullet controlled by Tex, finding Mbappe, dragged back to try to find a bit of room. There's the roulette. There's a more skill moves, and he was trying to cross it in to the back post, and that is Tex at his very best, using all the trickery that would make F2 proud.
You wanted to tell Mbappe there, just fall down, just go down. You have the skill run, you have the skill moves, take the penalty kick.
Ronaldo now to Neymar. MegaBit needs something going his way. It was a back heel, but Marcelo the entire time was in front of Vieira to snuff it out.
Lovely anticipation there from Tex. He read that 2 passes ahead. Dangerous play, maybe playing out with the goalkeeper, but he was definitely in the right place at the right time with Marcelo.
Not playing any tricks now. Tex just looking to get the ball to the halfway line, and it's MegaBit's defenders that win it back. Vieira to Messi. Trying to get it on his left. He has a 4-star weak foot. It's okay, but obviously the left is better. If you watch football, you'll know that. Here's Hullet, first time!
Offside.
Low, and it is just offside. It's heartbreaking here for MegaBit. That is exactly what he needed. There's still so much time for the German to get back in this one, but he's whistled off. Of course, there's no VAR. This is a video game, okay? So no rectangular symbols from the referee. MegaBit knows it.
And we're going to see changes. I'm wondering if MegaBit maybe just needed a mental break. When you think you've scored a goal, you've got something on the board. board to review that opportunity.
They certainly have the talent to do it, and they are really going back and forth like two heavyweights in the ring. But it is MegaBit now that needs that final knockout blow. He's down 2 goals.
He can't go down 3. Mateo, he cannot go down 3. It can't happen.
Oh, watch out now. He might go down even more, as you said, and deflection helping out MegaBit as the ball goes right to David De. The second game, and now another 2 goals to try to punish MegaBit. That is a good effort from Neymar. Looking for that bottom corner. De Gea pushes it out for a corner. Now MegaBit instantly taking that cross in. But De Gea is there to punch it out. Edge of the box. Won by Tex. Marcelo, it's a bit of an errant pass, not something you expect from. He's able to get it out of trouble, at least. For Neto, intercept that ball, it was vital. To him, has the through ball to Neymar. There's Vieira. CR7 trying, it is deflected. Now Hullet. Incessant pressure now from Tex, getting the 2 holding midfielders forward, Vieira and Hullet, to add even more pressure. First time effort. De Gea pushes it wide.
Tex would like to have that one back. He had one more pass, he could have dropped it off. You could tell from his reaction that he saw the pass right after he had already hit that first time shot.
You mentioned the results between these two. Tex did lose to MegaBit in London and Nicolas in Bucharest, but before that, Tex really had MegaBit's number. I think it was the first 4 times they met. Tex won them all.
Had a couple very close bouts between them, though. We had a 6-5 in Bucharest. We had a 5-4. MegaBit's been knocking out the door, just hasn't been able to really pull it off outside of course, the result in London recently. But we're on a new patch, a new meta, basically a new game. It's a really big shift.
Just about to head into the half. Wherever you're watching from, hope you're enjoying it. We're at the FUT 19 Champions Cup in Atlanta, Georgia. We're in the Xbox Semifinals. It's number 1 of Xbox against number 3 of Xbox. CR7 now for Tex, looking to just add insult to injury, get that 5th goal on aggregate. CR7, Vieira, edge of the box. Ferdinand, get the ball away from Ferdinand in that position, and he does just that, but it's won back by MegaBit. Switching flanks, and the first time a looping ball over the top to just get it forward and try to break quickly the other way. Here is MegaBit. Hullet, and Ferdinand brushes off Messi like he's a mosquito. Maldini. Messi has the overlapping run from Ramos. He plays it to the back post, but it's won by Texas defense. It's not often we've seen Ramos crossing the ball in. We've seen him plenty in that right back role, but often just there to defend on the aerial balls. Sergio Ramos used to be a right back earlier in his career with Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe. CR7, Neymar back to his Paris Saint-Germain teammate Mbappe. That is trickery, and he does get by one. Can he get by another? Nope. Hullet's there to intercept it. And in terms of using skill moves, how do you rank both these players? Tex near the top for you?
Tex would be near the top if you were doing a scale of 1 through 10. You got to say F2 Tex has the techers probably a 10 out of 10 in terms of what he's able to do, the variety of skill moves, the combinations, his instincts, what he sees on the pitch versus what other people see on the pitch in terms of being able to beat his opposition with skill moves. And with MegaBit, pretty simple guy, looking for the passes, not looking for the skill moves nearly as much. If I was doing the same type of scale, maybe a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. MegaBit can definitely use the skills, but you're not going to see that as his first option. He's always trying to open up space. He's looking more for the tiki-taka pass and move. That's always been part of his gameplay. It's been consistent the last couple years, and that's not going to change anytime soon.
Well, he is a simple guy, MegaBit. Says he wants to add furniture to his apartment whenever he does
an old
win.
soul.
It's not exactly an exhilarating choice, but it's one that is useful. So good on you, MegaBit. He has been represented by 2 professional esports clubs. First, and he actually taught me how to pronounce it right. It's Bochum. I think I'm saying that right. There's Germans laughing right now in the crowd.
Yeah, in the chat, guys. In the chat.
All right, Bochum. I'll try that again.
Can we get a thumbs up down there or thumbs down? Or how are we doing? Bochum.
Thumbs up. Bochum was his first esports club. Now he's moved over to Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga. Tex with F2, wearing the Liverpool red. He loves Liverpool. He supports Liverpool as well. MegaBit instantly trying to get something going his way. Still plenty of time in this one. We're in the second leg. MegaBit needs 2 goals now.
And Rio Ferdinand has been special for F2 Tex. Every time he steps, getting key tackles, winning the aerial pursuits, you name it. As Tex is going to recycle here. It's going to start to look to kill some of the clock, I would say, as well, just to put additional pressure on MegaBit.
And here is that pressure. All the big boys forward, so much talent available to these players with the Team of the Year cards and the icons. There's an icon in Hullet, another icon in Vieira. Unmistakable, the hair of Hullet. It's either him or Nathan Ake, I think. R9. Hullet again to Neymar. This is much better possession. The heel to heel, cross it forward. And again, the quick array of trickery. What we've noticed from Tex is when he does go for the skill moves, they tend to be used in bunches. And he doesn't just do it for show. He genuinely uses them to create space as he did there. R9 trying to cross a near post, took a deflection, but one back. The pressure's rampant from Tex. He smells blood in the water. He wants another goal to get a 3-goal aggregate advantage. Messi. Now MegaBit just looking to calm it down. He went through, and here's a good chance from Neymar, but again offside. Mike, he scored an offside goal in the first game, MegaBit.
He's frustrated. He has not been able to break through and get clear-cut chances. Tex defense has gotten a lot better, and like I said, he's starting to limit MegaBit's opportunities. Tex is still looking to go forward, looking to score goals, but he's also making additional passes, putting a little more pressure, running down the clock while still having an offensive presence.
There's been a lot of talk about the meta. We haven't seen that many El Tornado. So put me in MegaBit's head right now. What changes does he need to make tactically? To get himself back in this one?
I'm expecting to see MegaBit start to look into adjusting his pressure. MegaBit's gone a little bit smaller.
CR7, R9. What I would do to watch those two link up on the same team today, but different generations for the two Ronaldos. CR7, Neymar to R9. Quick, intricate passing, and it is a foul. And this position. What do you do from here, Mike?
I'm
Quick
expecting
pass.
a layoff from Tex and going on goal.
It's Ronaldo making the run, but Hullet elects to give it right to Ronaldo. Read well. Ronaldo by De Gea, shifted across.
That might be the first time we've seen MegaBit move the goalkeeper, and rightly so.
Hullet inside, it's no offside, and it forced a sliding challenge from MegaBit's defender. Modric, Neymar has an option out wide, and can the pace beat Varane? Absolutely not. The thing that users like so much about Varane is the mixture of pace, anticipation, strength. He's got everything that you need. Size, of course.
6'3", good work rates.
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4". He's a massive boy, Rafa Varane, and of course that height helps so much on all those aerial balls that are swung into the box.
And also easy to link with him being quads, even if you don't necessarily have the icons, or some of these teams have access to everyone with the esports build.
You would never guess that. Pressure on, first time shot to the near post, forces a kick save from De Gea. And you wonder if that goal would have ended it. There isn't a lot of time. We're in this goals. Third ranked player in Xbox. This is to go to the of Xbox. It's 3 against that his chances are dwindling down to a close. How many more clear-cut opportunities will he have?
And the problem is MegaBit is rushing. He's rushing his passes, he's giving it back, Lee, and Texas making him work hard to get the ball. Back, and you're seeing this. He's starting to kill off. And this is a mix of running down the clock, but also frustrating your opponent. He's trying to bait. Being said, MegaBit has an opportunity here, has to score.
Absolutely has to get everyone forward. Ultra offensive. Modric offside. The linesman is not on the side of MegaBit today. That is one time that he scored a goal that he thought was regular, and it was offside. Of course, when it's you doing the scoring, more chances. You can feel the anticipation, and you can hear a pin drop in the studio.
Yeah, there's definitely
as we're waiting for the drama to unfold. Console final here at the FUT 19 Champions Cup in Atlanta, Georgia.
Headset off for MegaBit. That's not a good sign typically. You can feel the tension in the room. And this match, 6-7 minutes of the game.
Maybe
2 goals.
Maybe his ears are just sore, right?
You can ask him. He can hear us.
Well, his ears are breathing a bit better now. MegaBit has taken off the headphones, and he is fully dialed in. The 84th minute, every a chance for MegaBit. He's got to be ruthlessly efficient, and he's been known for. And here he goes, first ball into the box. It was a first-time effort as well from CR7, but again, look how many bodies back wearing the Liverpool red. Time is on the side of Tex. No need to get the ball to force anything into the final. Final third, great job from Mbappe, and now he's just going to waste time near the corner flag. And it looks like it is last touch from MegaBit. And the expression from MegaBit changing as he knows, what is it, 2 more chances at most. Every pass has to be pertinent. It's a giveaway right to not the most accurate pass, and he knows he could have done better.
Yeah, MegaBit, since the
and Mbappe just sends it. Great effort. MegaBit could be the final kick of the game. He's put in a valiant performance. He went extra 5-2. He beat Royal, Rogue, and Rozik62, but he loses to Tex, #1 on Xbox. Good performance from MegaBit. And Xbox Final, you are watching the FUT 19 Champions Cup live here in Atlanta. We'll be right back and go to studio to break down all the action. Thanks for joining us.
Let me know how far you want to take this. I can see myself in an esteemed position. I got no qualms, I got no f under my belt, and now I'm switching gears. Options, we win by any means.
It was a hard-fought battle, but it's going to be Tex. Hurry. You got myself GB with Chu, and you know, I think that this was what I think we had all expected was Tex winging, and that's what I want to see. Let's actually jump into the highlights here. but one thing I wanted this game was exactly what he would have wanted.
In front of goal. He knows how to put a little bit of space. He's going to be taking a comfortable 2-0 lead, but it was just how Tech pressed me.
Very well thoughts there on MegaBit's start.
Yes, the stick from MegaBit, but then towards Tex did show out. He scored that. He saw a different Tex. Definitely helped them out tremendously.
Literally, like after that, it just was goal after goal after goal. This guy was right back into this game.
Alex, the haters said that after the patch, I mean, look at what we're seeing right here. Any Mbappe, he doesn't need to do it all.
What was more impressive was how Tex was able to just hard-fought battle in leg one. Texo was
more defensive, and I was like, you're not scoring again, and I will, and I managed to do so.
So then when you started the second leg, you started really strong. When did you know that it was going your way?
As soon as I scored the first goal, I thought, nice, I'm in the lead, I've got the lead, I'm not going to choke it again this time. And I went 4-2 up, and then I thought, okay, you're just not going to touch the ball, and I managed to win 4-2.
Tex versus MegaBit's becoming something of a classic in FIFA right now.
Yeah, we've played 5, 6, 7 times. Times at events, and he's beat me once, which is the most recent one, so I didn't want to have...
How are you feeling now going forward? What will you do now to relax and try to kind of...
Whoever I'm playing next, let's go.
We were just celebrating in the stands, and you were telling me, talk to the boys a little bit about that.
Supports me at the events. It's the first one.
Been brilliant to see her here as well. There you go, full support there. Brilliant from you once again. Well done. Tex, might not be the last time we're speaking to him.
Thank you so much, Kay. I just want to give the shout outs to the moms in esports.
Shout out, Mom.
That's right. Awesome stuff there. Interesting 1x2, and most players would be, no, I need to play defensively. I need to prevent him from getting any kind of momentum to get his own goal, and that kind of turned things around for him.
And what Tex does, you've got two choices when you're defending. You can either through ball runs. He does both at the same time attacking.
Well, I'm so glad you said Boost Mobile switch moment. God, you're so good, Dan. Me and you up by 2, but it was going to be of the ball, and then and marched it down the pitch goal. And it was at this point, Megan's going to have presence on the score. Boom.
Beautiful.
Right there, back of
Laundry, that was dirty. Hit him dirty.
So there you have it. You're there. And then, as I had mentioned before, was off to the races, was able to cross both legs. Now let's take a look. That's just going to be coming up here. Tex will be in the grand